Good morning, my beautiful, fabulous friends. Happy Wednesday, August 5th. I don't know where you are, how hot it is where you are, but where it is here in Oklahoma, man, it is blazing hot, and it's going to be even more so for the rest of the foreseeable week, at least. Hey, if you haven't done so yet, please make sure you hop over to YouTube and subscribe. That's the currency. That's the social currency these days. Is you just subscribe to people, and they share amazing content like this. For those of you who have never watched before, my name is Patrick Almond. I own a digital marketing company called Stop Doing Nothing Media, and we broadcast on occasion, hopefully weekly, sometimes not, here out of the central US. And we talk about everything related to making your business better. We talk tactics, we talk strategy, we talk marketing automation, we talk AI for sure, dude. And if there's a dead giveaway right there that I was definitely born and raised a Valley boy. So wherever you're watching from, please make sure you drop a comment. And yeah, I always like to see your comments also and your questions. I have a set agenda that I do here, but I'm always interested in your questions because I take the questions and I will answer them and I will broadcast them. They will be on the stream later, and this turns into a podcast. This will turn into a blog post. And I am not the smartest person on the planet. There are plenty of other smarter people out there besides me, but I want to hear from you, okay? I want to hear from you as I'm talking about these topics. And the goal of all of this is to make you a better business owner, to make you a better techie, to get you more proficient with things like AI and marketing automation and lead generation. These are topics that I've been focusing on for, I don't know, the past, let me see, where are we right now? Probably 2.5 decades, maybe going on 3 decades. I don't know. But I just always love to hear your comments, and especially your questions and where you are watching from. So I was going to read you off something that I always like to start off something with a little bit of wisdom. And I was going to read you off something that a brilliant friend sent for me yesterday. She runs her own. She runs her own business helping federal employees and their benefits. And she sent me, oh, I had it hip just a second ago, of course. Here we go. Oh goodness gracious. Oh, she sends me so many brilliant things via text, and I just gotta scroll up and find the darn things. Let me see. Where was that she just sent? Oh my goodness, I did have it ready. I swear I had it ready. I prepared. It was right there. And goodness gracious. And then I touched my phone screen and it just kind of blew past me. So I will find something else that she sent that was really, really good. Or maybe I scrolled too far back. Let me see. She sends me really several brilliant things, and I want to read this particular one. It's been on my mind ever since she said it. But oh, here we go. I scrolled past it too fast. Okay, this is really great. I'm curious as your take on this. Okay, you already have the body of your last 1,000 meals, the mind of your last 1,000 conversations, and the bank account of your last 1,000 decisions. Nothing about your current situation is a mystery. It's a receipt. Okay, let's read that again. You already have the body of your last 1,000 meals, the mind of your last 1,000 conversations, and the bank account of your last 1,000 decisions. Nothing about where you are right now, your current situation, is a mystery. It's a receipt. Put another way, you are where you are right now because you made a million decisions to get to where you are right now. So if you wake up in the morning and say, how did I end up in this situation? How did I end up 50 pounds overweight? How did I end up broke AF? How did I end up as all that? You don't have to wonder. I mean, it's really dead simple as to how you got where you are right now. It's because of your choices and your decisions that you make every single day. They cannot be perfect, but they cannot be better, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. So today, what I'm going to talk about is a topic I've talked about before, about ways to basically delegate and give other people work to free up your time to do bigger, higher level things. Completely unrelated to high level, the CRM that we recommend also, okay? But this time I'm going to do it in the context of how you can use AI to do some of these things, okay? So I have a 5 list. I call it the Playmakers Fire Yourself from the Day-to-Day list. And we're going to run through these 5 Playmaker moves that I believe you can combine these with your best LLM or your best AI, whatever you want to call it. All these AIs are really called LLMs. Us nerds like to use the real terms. And you will accelerate your growth faster as a business owner. And even not as a business owner, you will basically free up your time to do bigger picture things and not focus on the small minutia kind of things. Okay. So the first one is, well, first of all, I want to talk about how you would do these in AI. Okay. I am a Claude person. Okay. A lot of the world is ChatGPT. A lot of us more nerdy people are Claude people. Some of you are Gemini people. Some of you are Perplexity people. It doesn't really matter. Okay. I try to give advice that is AI agnostic. Now, if you were to ask me one-on-one, I would know how to do all these in Claude, but I'm 100% sure these can be done in every single AI out there. And and also probably most of these can be done with the free tier. I mean, I have the paid tier of at least two, but I believe most of what I'm going to share with you could be done with the free tiers of AIs. And the goal of these is to use AI to offload some of your brain, not a second brain. We're not talking about second brain kind of stuff. We're talking about, just kind of offloading part of your brain to basically free you up for the big picture things. Okay. The first one here I have on my Playmaker. Boy, you can tell where I grew up, right? Born and raised in LA. The first thing on my list here of Playmaker things that you can use to fire yourself from the day to day, if you will, is running a time audit. And my notes on here are track your week and then feed the log into your LLM of choice and ask it to sort every hour into only I can do this versus anyone can do this. So what this means is I want you to take your you don't have to do a minute by minute log, okay? But I want you to take what you maybe look at hour by hour at what you work on every single week. And to do this, you may have to do a little bit of time tracking. There are tools out there like Rescue Time that will help you track your time as to what you're doing, or the easiest way is just a pen and paper next to you. But oftentimes we think, and by the way, a list like this are things I am 100% guilty of. Have been in the past, still am every now and then. A lot of times when we are entrepreneurs, especially startup solo entrepreneurs, we look at different things that we do daily and we think, nobody else can do this but me. I have to be the one to do this. And what's amazing is 80% of that list is not true. I'm a big fan of the Pareto's principle, the whole 20-80 thing. So out of your list of 10 things, there's probably only 2 of them that you actually need to be doing. The rest can be described, documented, written down, and delegated. Now, people come back to me when I say this and they say, "Oh, Patrick, I don't have, $1,000 a month to hire a VA." Okay. I'm not saying hire a VA. I'm saying start building the list now as to where you can either delegate something to an LLM or you can delegate it to another person who's really good at AI or an LLM and do it for you. And this is the first one right here. Is just kind of look at your day-to-day calendar. Okay, I'm a big fan of filling up my calendar. And by filling up my calendar, I mean making sure that every block has something in it. That doesn't always mean I'm very busy. What it means is I don't want any open gaps where I'm just sitting there doing nothing. Okay, give you a good example of this. I've taught a session a while back of basically how to make sure that at the beginning of the week, if you have any open gaps, fill them with something. Fill them with blogging, fill them with creating content, fill them with marketing calls. Don't have an hour just sitting there that says, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I'll randomly pick a thing. Pre-plan that stuff, okay? Pre-plan that stuff. And so what you should be doing is looking at your day-to-day, your hours, your 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours in some cases for some of you. And what you should be doing is you should be looking at all those tasks and figuring out only the 20% you have to do and offloading those either to your LLM of choice or to, a VA or any kind of combination there. And this is really important because a lot of people in my world that work in marketing and AI, we're very tech focused, and we can get lost in tech for hours. Raise your hand if you've ever had a tech problem or something wouldn't work or an API or an MCP wouldn't work, and all of a sudden you're 2 hours into the problem and you're like, oh well, there goes my day, there goes my marketing time, there goes my lunchtime, there goes part of my relationship. Okay, we're going to stop that. We definitely do not do that. So if you want to use AI to start to free up your time, the first thing you have to do is run a time audit. And like I said, take a pencil and paper, put a notepad next to you and just start maybe every hour or every other hour, kind of write down what you're doing. And then after you do that for a week or two, kind of figure out, feed that into your LLM of choice and figure out, what can we delegate? What can we either give to a VA, give to a friend, a partner, somebody else who I work with, or can we build an AI project to do it? Okay. Sometimes they're called agents. I'm a big fan of AI agents. I could talk for 6 hours on just a cool AI agent kind of stuff. Okay. So that's number one. Playmaker move one, run a time audit. Playmaker move two, which is one of the ones I've severely failed at, and anyone that works with me will tell you this, is document it once. So when you're talking about all of those things on that list that you don't have to do, that you can delegate, each one of those has some kind of SOP or some kind of process. And let me see if I can give you an example off the top of my head. Um, Blog post writing. Okay, I am not a great writer by any stretch of the imagination. This is why I do live streams over more live streams than I do blogging, is because I can talk for hours, but me sitting there on a keyboard banging out everything with the proper sentence structure and words and length and all that stuff, I am not good at. But what I am good at is documenting how I want my blogging done. Okay, and this comes down to SOPs. Please raise your hand if you have one or more SOPs. What this means is, you develop the concept for the blog post, you work on the thumbnail, you work on the bullet items, you work on the taglines, you work on the social media posting as a result. And then you can start to use this with a tool like Claude. Again, Claude's my LLM of choice, but you don't have to use that. What you can start to do is, once you have this process, you can start to feed these standardized things into an LLM and have it build checklists for you or build SOPs for you. And then you store those in a central company location. So when you do have someone to work on it, they are, you just, here you go. Here's my blogging process right here. And Claude and all the other LLMs are good at doing that. By the way, just a quick slip in here. This is non-promotional, but more often than not these days, we spend a lot of time here at Stop Doing Nothing in ClickUp. Okay, so oftentimes I'll use Claude directly, or I will use Claude via ClickUp, and ClickUp has docs. And what we are trying to do more and more here is use ClickUp docs for our SOPs. We're not great at it, but we are getting better every single day. So document it once. And that first time is going to be a little bit painful. That first time, you're going to leave out some steps. That first time, you're probably going to make some mistakes. But start documenting the 80% that I was talking about earlier in the 80-20. Start documenting that so you feel good that when you hand it off to someone, okay, that they will do it your way. Oftentimes, we like to delegate. We like to hand off someone to someone and say, hey, Bob, here, go do my blog posting, okay? Patrick said I should delegate it to you, so here, just go write me a blog post and process it the way I would. And then Bob has like, okay, here's a blog post. And then you get frustrated because you're like, that's not the way I would have done it. That's not the way I would have done the graphics or the phrasing or the title work or any of that. Document that shiz, okay? This is something that's kind of funny because we could probably do a whole show on documentation or the lack thereof. Okay, document that stuff, put it in Google Docs. It's easy, cheap, and free. For those of you that use Asana, I bet you Asana has something like that. I don't know if Monday does. ClickUp 100% does. We go all in on ClickUp here every single day. So just document that once, and that way you can be sure it's done perfectly every single time. And that also gives you a way to judge the person doing the work. And by the way, you don't have to delegate it to a human. Goodness gracious. Raise your hand if you've created an AI agent recently, okay? This is exactly what AI agents are good for. I have an AI agent that helps me plan this show now. Didn't exist a week ago. Didn't exist, I don't know if it existed 5 days ago, but I realized that there's a certain quality and a certain level where I want to take this show. And so Claude has an AI agent, not an AI agent, AI project inside of Claude now, where I just started brain dumping good ideas I've seen from other shows and how I want my shows to flow, how far ahead I want to get on my shows, how I want to structure my topics, how I want my pre, during, and post-production to be, okay? And my Claude AI agent is keeping me on track for this show, and we've already started working on next week's show, and the show 3 weeks out, going to start to line up guests, things like that. So these are all really good ideas I had in my head for how I want to do this live stream show, but I had to dump it out of my head. I had to get it out. And I'm going to have some more conversations over coffee, probably either later today or later this week, with my AI project in Claude to figure out, again, how to structure this show and how to continue to refine it and make it better. For those of you who have watched past shows, sometimes I'm not consistent. Sometimes I have things going on and either I can't do a show or I do a low quality show. I'm tired of that shiz. We are not doing that anymore. Okay. But to get the show I want, to get to the quality and level I want, I have to brain dump that out. Okay. Document it once. Playmaker move number 3, automate the repetitive stuff. This should be a given. This is a perfect use case for AIs, for agents, and for marketing automation. I've been in the marketing automation world now for a couple of decades. It started with, let me see if we can figure out how to go back here. It started with Thrive, which was Keep, which was Infusionsoft. Okay, that's where I cut my teeth. And since then, I have worked on so many marketing automation platforms. And the latest one is, the high level. We are high level certified admins. We are high level resellers. We kind of kick some serious arse in the high level world. But in the world of marketing and lead generation, I learned a while back that there's so much you can automate. The things like the initial reach out, the cold reach out, the warm follow up, seeing how serious someone is in the lead generation world, seeing exactly what they want. Now you can do this obviously with high level, but you can do it with AI also. But just basically putting things on autopilot, because not every single thing requires a human being. Okay? Not every single thing requires a human being. Some of the creative stuff does, and stuff that, requires a human to make some decisions. Yeah, that stuff does. But, goodness gracious, stuff like checking analytics, checking finances, keeping track of goals. One of the things I really love doing inside my AI tools is basically setting, content goals, reach goals, financial goals, and having it pull that information for me and say, hey, you are behind target, you are on target, you are ahead of target. That's something that doesn't really need a human to do it. Okay, I have 100% done this. I've trained my AI agent to look at my pipeline, to look at my Stripe account, to look at even in my emails, and also in our accounting package, Xero. We use Xero, Xero. These days, when I'm working with AI, I look at only tools that have MCPs, and Xero, Xero, has an MCP. So I can have a Claude agent wake up every single Friday morning at 5 o'clock. That's how I like to measure my week and my client's week. It's Friday morning at 5 o'clock or Friday morning after midnight. How did we do for the past 7 days? That's our cycle here when we build marketing for people, our Friday mornings. I can have a Claude agent wake up, connect to my Stripe account, connect to my Xero account, connect to my CRM account, which has my pipeline, and to connect to any other kind of places where I collect financial information and say, this is what you brought in. This is what you have in the pipeline. This is how many deals you won. This is how many deals you lost. And if you are, aiming for $1 million month or a $5 million month, wink, wink, boy, wouldn't that be nice? Then here are the things you need to do, and you're on target or you're behind target. Okay, that's something that doesn't need a human intervention. For me to do that manually, it's log into my Stripe account, write down the number, put it in a tracking spreadsheet, log into Xero, same thing, log into High Level, do the same thing. Sweetheart, we're not doing that. We're going to delegate that to an AI agent. And by the way, quick sidebar here. When I say AI agent, I'm just referring to tools that you can build that are like little miniature staff members, if you will. And AI agents are becoming very, very popular. Just about every tool I log into these days has AI agents. Claude has managed agents. ClickUp has agents. I believe Monday has agents. Asana has agents. High Level has agents. And you can build an agent, you can give it a role, you can tell the agent builder what fires up that agent, what wakes up that agent. Is it Friday at 5 o'clock in the morning? Is it when the temperature is over, 75 degrees in your house? Is it when your revenue has hit a certain threshold? So an agent is like a sleeping person in your company, snores, does nothing most of the time, but wakes up on a triggering event and does a predefined set of tasks. I call mine my CFO agent. Probably Clark or something with a C. I like to give them names, and it's really cool because when I do this in ClickUp actually builds me an org chart of me and my AI agents. And Clark, the CFO agent, does nothing most of the week. Okay? Clark is just asleep most of the week. Clark wakes up at 5 o'clock, about the same time I do. No, I think Clark may wake up right after midnight. I'm not quite sure. But Clark wakes up Friday morning, let's just call it Friday morning, and Clark goes to work. And Clark is really fast, okay? Clark can log into my Stripe account, my high-level account. He's got all the credentials, my accounting, my Xero account. And in 5 minutes, maybe, and that's a long stretch for Clark, Clark can give me my financials and tell me whether I'm behind target, on target, or ahead of target. So if you haven't done so, and please drop me a comment if you have, I want to hear if you're using AI agents yet. And if you're not, that's going to be another show where I'm going to, actually, it doesn't really matter or not. More than likely, it's going to be a show where we just start talking about how to build AI agents. It's a little bit harder in the LLMs directly. I consider AI knowledge like level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is you just logging into ChatGPT and asking it a question. Level 2 is you kind of build repetitive processes. And then level 3 is going to be agents. So there's going to be a future show where we just talk about agents. Okay, let's keep on moving. We got 30 minutes, and I want to make sure I get you back to work on this fine Wednesday morning. Playmaker. So that was Playmaker move number 3, automate the repetitive stuff. And for those of you that are just tuning in, number 1 was run a time audit using AI. Number 2 was document it once using SOPs in AI. Make sure you do it in a tool of, Google Drive or something like ClickUp, which we use. And then number 3, automate the repetitive stuff. So Playmakers move number 4, delegate the decision, not just the task. See, what did I put here? Feed an LLM your past reasoning on a recurring call, refunds, hiring, practicing, pricing exceptions, to draft an if-then playbook your team can run without you. Ooh, yeah, this is one where I could see this. This is something, especially when it comes to financials, where you would normally have a human make the decision, okay? Let's say you have a customer sat issue, and the customer is pissed because they, for a certain reason, they felt goals were not met, or there's something quantifiable where you have criteria, you have hard criteria in your noggin up here where you can say, if this is true, then I will take this path. So if the customer had a certain benchmark and or a certain KPI or a certain something to do, and we signed a contract to do it, and we did not do it, then that person deserves a refund, or that person deserves to have a certain action happen. So that's what number 4 is delegate the decision, not just the task. Feed an AI agent, if you will, your criteria for making a decision. Now you can't always do this. If you're a creative person, for example, sometimes you can't use AI to say, "Oh, I want to use this color on a graphic versus this color." I mean, AI can do it, but I know creative people build brilliant things, and there are a lot of things that AI will never be able to replace, and one of them is creativity. But there are other binary quantifiable things in your business that you can set up an AI agent or an LLM, if you will, to decide for you. What's the priority of a incoming problem? We get a lot of requests. Sometimes our clients are like, "This is broken," or "I want this," or things like that. And you can look at the context of what they said and decide how urgent that is. Okay. Let's imagine somebody emails into us here at Stop Doing Nothing Media, and they say, "My website is down. Please get it fixed ASAP." Okay. I can have an AI agent checking my email, seeing that from my client and saying, that is a high priority item. Anytime tech is not available, that is a high priority item. If website's down, if a marketing automation isn't working, if something's inaccessible or there's a page missing or a page not found, that's a high priority item. Okay? And an LLM can build a ticket, mark it as high priority, and then send it to your team and say, "Hey, this is urgent." Okay? That didn't need to go through you. At the same time, a different company can open up a support ticket and say, "Here's a list of contacts I need to get imported. This is really, really urgent. Or let's just say they don't say it's the urgent part, because sometimes you have to be careful. I love my clients, I really do, but sometimes urgent is not urgent, if you know what I mean. You've all been there. Let's say someone emails in to our support and says, I need to import this list of clients. Please get it done ASAP, okay? That's not urgent. Nothing is broken. ASAP is good. And, you can prioritize things into, critical, I call them, I think I like critical, high, medium, and low. Those are the kind of urgencies you have when you deal with problems, right? To me, the first one, the top one, critical, is when something's actually broken. And you can't have a list of critical items. You can have maybe one or two critical items, but you can't, not everything is high priority. That's a business lesson I had to learn a long time ago. When someone walks up to you and they say, oh, here's a list of things I want you to do, and it's high priority, and it's high priority, and it's high priority. No, 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 no. One of them is a high priority. The others are mediums. And once you get the high done, a medium can move up to a high, but not everything in your task list or your trouble ticket list or when you're fighting fires, not everything is critical. Okay? Not everything is critical. I tell people you get one, maybe two critical items, but after that, everything's high and medium. And then as we knock out the criticals or as we knock out the highs, you move things up the tier. Okay? So that's something that you can use AI to help you delegate. And I see a lot of AI work being done in help desk type systems. I'm building a help desk type system inside of my ClickUp, and that's going to be something that the AI agent is going to look at when someone fills out the form. Is based on the words they put in there, is this a low, medium, high thing? A medium or a low might just be a question. Hey, Patrick, we were curious if this is possible. Don't do it yet. Okay, that's a medium or a low priority question. A high or a medium or a high is something they want done ASAP, and a critical is something that is broken. Okay, AI can make those decisions. So, Playmaker move number 4, delegate the decision, not just the task. Feed an LLM your past reasoning on a recurring call, refunds, hiring, practicing exceptions, to draft an if-then playbook your team can run without you. And what this is saying, now I see how I wrote this here, is basically I talk into my LLM, either using it directly or using WhisperFlow. Any WhisperFlow plans out there? I love me some WhisperFlow on my Mac. But you just basically talk to it and feed it that information and have the LLM set up your if-then-else conditions, okay? So far we've done Playmaker move number 1, run a time audit. Playmaker move number 2, document it once. Playmaker move number 3, automate the repetitive stuff. Did I just say repetitive stuff multiple times? I have on this call, haven't I? And then Playmaker move number 4, delegate the decision, not the task. And your final one for today. Playmaker move number 5, install a weekly rhythm. Oh, this is the one I love. Here I put AI generated Monday morning, but I prefer Friday. AI generated Monday morning summary pulled from CRM analytics instead of manually digging through 5 tools. Okay, we kind of covered this in some of the early ones, but basically the one like number 3, not only automate it, but pick a regular cycle for it. So a Friday morning, Clark, my CFO agent, wakes up at 5 o'clock, pulls the information for me. Then Clark can also summarize that into a report and send it to me. And so it looks like number 5 and number 3 here are almost kind of the same thing. So install a weekly rhythm. So basically, well, I guess automate the repetitive stuff doesn't mean it's happening on a regular rhythm. You can automate something and just do it on occasion. Okay, let's say I didn't want finances every Friday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's just say I wanted them whenever. Okay, then you can log into your LLM and say run this, and it can still be automated. But install a weekly rhythm, which is something else I'm a big fan of, is basically saying it happens on this day at this time. Maybe it's the first of the month. Maybe it's Friday at 5 o'clock in the morning. But that lets you know that it's somewhat predictable, and that also gives you time to set up to review the human work, to review the automated work yourself on a human basis, excuse me. So if Clark pulls in all my financials, Clark, my CFO AI agent in ClickUp, pulls in all of my financials at Friday at 5 o'clock in the morning, then what I need to do on my calendar is I need to have a repetitive task at 5:30 or 6 o'clock that says, go look at the report that Clark did, give Clark some feedback, or adjust what we're doing here at the company. Okay. So I'm a big fan of, and I know I've done a past show on this, on recurring appointments on your calendar to do things. You cannot do any massive growth if you're not doing the day-to-day or week-by-week minutia things. So use AI to build those also. So maybe you tell Clark, you know what, after you pull my financials at 5 o'clock on a Friday morning, put an appointment on my calendar to have to review the data and have a conversation with Clark. Okay, you don't just want AI to be doing stuff on a repetitive loop and you not review it, especially metrics like company growth, lead generation, like that. You actually want to put in the human factor to review those after your AI does it. So a quick recap, and then let's get on to our second cup of coffee. So my goal with teaching today was how to fire yourself from some of the day-to-day mundane work. What are our 5 Playmaker moves? Playmaker move 1, run a time audit. Get a pad, a pad of paper, and a pencil. Goodness, that was somewhat of a P tongue twister, if you will. And just kind of keep track on an hourly or maybe half-day basis what you work on and figure out what we can feed to an LLM. Playmaker move number 2, document it once. Build those SOPs, brothers and sisters. Playmaker move number 3, automate the repetitive stuff. Okay? Give it to an AI, make the AI do it, get that out of your brain. Free up your brain for big picture, flying to the Cayman Islands, sitting on a beach, drinking a Mai Tai or something, okay? That's what we want our brain to be focusing on. Number 4, delegate the decision, not just the task. So you can delegate opening up a trouble ticket, but you can also delegate your AI tool deciding what is critical, high, medium, low kind of thing also. And number 5, playmaker move number 5, because you're all going to be playmakers. Install a weekly rhythm of this AI doing stuff. I love the fact that tools like Claude, you can say, run something on a scheduled task. I have a little bit of an issue of doing it in Claude on your laptop. I prefer my agents run on the internet independently here. I know a lot of AI experts say, oh, you should use Claude scheduled tasks on your laptop. The problem I have with that is, you know what, your laptop goes to sleep. Your laptop gets snapped in half. I can leave my laptop on the top of my car when I back out of my driveway, and that thing can go tumbling down my local street. Okay? So I would encourage you, this is kind of outside the scope of this particular show, I would encourage you to find ways to build agents that run independently of your laptop and build processes that run independently of your laptop. Just because Claude built in a scheduled AI agent tool inside of, Claude Cowork or Claude Dispatch, I'm looking at my Claude here, or Claude Projects, doesn't mean it has to stay there. There are some things that, yeah, that's perfectly fine on, but remember, your laptop is not a server. You want to get this stuff into managed AI agents and free up your laptop and make sure that your business does not rely on your laptop being open. If you've liked this show, do me a favor. I'm not going to beg. I'm just going to ask nicely. Go over to YouTube and subscribe and turn on the little notification bell. I'll get notified. It will warm my heart, which is very important to my very fragile ego. And yeah, you'll get notified about when the next show is coming up. I actually have already scheduled the show for the 12th. I'm a week ahead. And my goal this week is to get the show scheduled for the 19th and the 26th also. How am I doing that? I've got an AI agent that knows my entire checklist for building a show, and we're going to get several weeks ahead. So I promise you, if I talk about it on this show, I am eating my own dog food, and I am either working on it myself or I will shortly. I usually talk about, not usually, I almost always talk about things that I've used, that I've screwed up in my life, or I've screwed up in my business, okay? My lessons, my failures are your reward. My loss is your gain. However that phrase goes. But anyways, have a great day. Make sure you use some more AI in your life. Hydrate, stretch, eat lots of protein, and do something brilliant for somebody else today. I love every single one of you, and you have a great day, and I will see you next week.